everybody. Welcome to Joe's Minibike Reading Podcast. Usually I have you over here giving me the season, which is season 5, and the episode, which is episode 2. But don't worry, don't fret. Evelyn will be joining us in a second. We're here to have a little fun in light of this tense situation going on out there with the coronavirus. I'd like to thank our sponsors from Pioneer Car Electronics. I'd like to thank our friends from GoPowersports.com. Check those guys out. In fact, I was trying to get Taylor to come on the show today, but I think the folks in Texas are still dealing with the mandate to stay inside and fight for toilet paper and all that good stuff. So hopefully we'll have Taylor and maybe Tim on one of the upcoming episodes. I want to thank our friends from Suds Racing, my man Eric. Eric, hope you're doing well. Hope your family's doing well. Hope everybody in Michigan is doing well. All our brothers out there. And I want to thank our return sponsors, Go Kart USA. Al, Emron, Mario, thank you guys for being a part of the podcast again. Look forward to working with you guys as always. As an update on the folks from Go Kart USA, Jake Mo's putting together a cool little project that we received from Al. And it's got a Tolson engine with some Jake Mo style crafting, so you're not going to want to miss that. That'll be something we'll look forward to talking about a little bit later on in the show and hopefully a little bit later on in the season. So thanks to all of our sponsors for being a part of things. I would like to tell you that we're hopeful that everybody is being safe and staying inside, because that's what they tell us to do. And while you're inside, you have a chance to kind of catch up on some things that you enjoy doing. A lot of folks, I understand, have been buying products. A lot of folks have been building bikes, which is great. I have myself. I recently pulled out the Ruckman Spider, and that bike has such a long history. At one point, it was going to be a giveaway bike. We were going to create a Pioneer audio wagon, and then a light bulb went out. I realized that we were building an American mini bike with an American-made engine for a Japanese company, Pioneer. That didn't make sense. So we decided to work on a Honda Grom for Pioneer, which is something I'll talk to you about a little bit later on in the season as well. But that Ruckman now is back. And Jake Mo has his hand in it, and Frank at F&B Racing had a hand in it. And I put it in a stock 4 horsepower later Tecumseh. I had the chance to assemble and put together the clutch brake, and I connected the throttle, and we ultimately, we have an echo? Okay. Linda's telling me that we have an echo. Maybe you can help on that. So the Ruckman long frame, I got it running, and I was, just trying to give it a little chance to breathe and idle, and I was revving the throttle, and the clutch shattered, which was good because I was on the opposite side of the clutch. I took the clutch cover off, which is another reason always keep your friggin' clutch cover on, right? What's happening, Rick Watson? Keep your clutch cover on. I had mine off because I was adjusting the clutch brake. It's not an excuse, but that's the reality of it. So when I was on the other side of the engine, revving the throttle, and then the clutch exploded, I'm happy I was on the other side. Nothing happened. The last thing I needed to do was go to the emergency room for a friggin' busted ankle, for a friggin' mini bike, and I'm 60 years old. Okay, so I dodged the bullet there. Hopefully we're dodging a bullet on the echoes. Great. Okay. So, hey, we've got a great show lined up. I've got an opportunity to put right in front of you the man who leads GTS Hobbies and the guy who stirs the drink in this mini bike world, particularly out here on the West Coast in SoCal. Rafa Ramirez. Rafa's going to join us a little later on in the podcast and give us a little bit of insight on what's happening in GTS. As you know, GTS is always busy working on producing frames. They're the guys that you need to contact if you're looking for a custom bike. One of the coolest custom GTS Hobbies bikes that I've seen lately is the one owned by Joe Pedroia from Muscle Minibike Builds. Joe put together a 2-stroke engine, headlight, ready to rock and roll, a foot shifter. I still hear an echo. E. So, okay, great. I'm seeing a few posts there. Guys, thank you for the patience on that. Oh, great. Did you hit the echo switch? All right. Hey, sounds like a kinky night out, E. All right, anyways. We were talking about Rafa. So Rafa's going to give us an insight of what's happening there. We are going to also, we did something in the podcast a season ago, and it was the JMBR National Minibike Roll Call. And it was really successful. Typically we average anywhere from about 4,000 to 5,000 total views each time we do one of these podcasts. And it's thank you, Mike. I know it's gone. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Dave. All right, enough with the fucking echo. All right. We are looking to find out from reps who are across this great old USA and find out what's happening in the thumbnail. What's happening in your state? What's happening with you? Look, we're not looking for doom or gloom. We're actually looking for some, we're looking for some good stuff. We're looking for some good stories. Good stories. Like the time I got kicked off of baseball for smoking cigarettes. Remember that, John DeMarco? Otherwise, I could have been, who knows, could have been a pro baseball player. All right, so we're looking for good stories, and I'm going to take you across the states of Arizona with Joe Pedroia. Jeremy from Michigan is going to join us. I've got Isaiah from Louisiana. I've got Don from Illinois. I got Jack Boyd from the West Coast. I have Vinny from Florida. I have a few folks that I'm hoping to get in front of you so they can give you a little bit of an idea about what's happening with them, and that'll happen in the second half of the podcast. One of the guys, Jeremy from Michigan, incidentally, Jeremy and Randy Keats, both of those guys get a big, huge JMBR attaboy for taking home some gold at the recent Detroit Autorama. Congratulations. I'm going to have a chance to talk to Mike Hughes from Tomb, the Texas Outlaw Minibike dudes. They just have an awesome endurance race that took place in Texas recently. And I wanted to get those guys on last week's show, but it was too crazy, right? Hey, what do you guys think about the JMBR haircut? I had it because I looked like, I think it was Larry from the Three Stooges, where the hair just grows out on the side, not the top. So finally I said, fuck it. I didn't tell Linda. I mean, she heard me. So I got out the clippers and I just, I started doing that shit that they do at Magic Cuts. I started with the fade on the sides, like a 3 or 4. I did each side, then I wrapped around the ear. I pulled out a fucking air hair that you could jump rope with. I was trying to do what I could, right? I got each side, I got the back going, and then on the top, I just started with a 6, and then I went to a 4, and when I went from the 4 down, man, that's where things went bad. I had a problem. I went too deep. I went from like a 4 to like 1/8 of an inch, and that's where I got this little patch there. But hey, all things aside, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, I look like Elmer Fudd. You're right. Incidentally, congratulations to the last podcast prize winners. The Green Hornet, Irving Payan, took home a Juggernaut. I think that was sent to you directly from Go Power Sports. And Brian, I recently mailed out your Pioneer head unit. Congratulations to you. Unlike Justin Bett, my hair will grow back. So before I get ahead of myself, we got a break. We got a little bit of a schedule. I know a lot of the guys on the East Coast. Jeremy called up and said, "Hey, Joe, it's like, it's going to be 10:45. God, it's going to be 11 o'clock out here in Detroit. And, it's thunder and lightning." It's like, Jeremy. All right, go fucking sit down. Take a nap. Do whatever you got to do. We got a schedule here. All right, we're going to get to you. I mean, I got to wait for Colin Smith to start watching, okay? So we're going to get to you, Jeremy. It's going to be later. You know what you got to do to stay up. You're from Michigan. I don't have to tell you that. You just got the head unit. Congratulations. Tell Pioneer Car Electronics. All right. Part of the funniest portion of the last time we did the podcast, we had Evil Ed on. And while Evil Ed had a chance to bless us with his presence, with his own segment, the Evil Ed segment, I never had an opportunity just to really have a chance to count how many hairs he has in his ear. He had a little bit of an issue with regard to the audio. Hopefully, we've got a little quirk in the system. Meanwhile, if anybody would like to donate a laptop to JMBR on behalf of Evil Ed, it'll be a lease. We'll return it to you autographed with a bunch of JMBR merchandise. But if you have a $200 deal, something short and sweet, we'd love it. Maybe you can get a sponsor deal out of it, but we need a laptop for Ed. Hi, John Barkley. How you doing, brother? John Barkley, you want to talk about drag racing legends? Look at this. Okay, Mini Bike World, stand up and say hi to John Barkley. Google him. All right, so without further ado, let's get to Evil Ed Roulette. Ed, hopefully Emmanuel's got this figured out. Welcome to the podcast, brother. He hasn't checked in? Well, okay, so Eve, do me a favor. Call him, would you? Thank you. All right, so with that said, we're going to bring on Rafa Ramirez. Rafa Ramirez from GTS Hobbies, the man, the legend. He's hanging out down in SoCal. Had a chance to check in with him earlier. He's been working out. He looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Wait till you see him. I mean, six-pack abs ripped, this guy. Where is he? There's my man, Rafa. He's hooded out. Hi,
What's
Rafa.
up, Joe?
Welcome to the podcast, brother. What's shaking down there at GTS? Well, so far, so good, man. How about you?
I'm pretty good. I can't complain.
Oh, go ahead, complain.
That's no good anyways, huh?
No one listens, Rafa. I tried that shit. No one cares.
Nobody gives a shit.
Someone said something. It's like, I think, again, Joe Pedroia, right? It's like, think about what you just said and then realize no one cares.
Yeah.
But I care about you, really, because you continue to just keep this mini bike hobby clicking, and you worked for it, and you bend those pipes yourself, and you started off, and you invested probably the few dollars you didn't have to get that thing going, and here you are decades later, and you're a force. You're well respected in your community, but also on the national scene. And then all this stuff happens. What's been going on? How's business been for you? And how do folks have an opportunity to maybe still get their hands on a frame during this time where they maybe have some downtime and they maybe can start a project, one that they've always wanted to do?
Yeah, well, we're still open. We're still open. We just don't have any retail traffic right now. I try to keep everybody away right now. No hangouts, no mini bike meets at the shop. But we're still there. We're still working. Just give us a call. Like I said before, don't message me on Instagram. I won't get back to you. Give me a call, and that's the fastest way to get to me, and we can take care of business.
The old school way, right, Ralph? Just pick up the phone.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever happened to that, huh?
Well, I think like so many things, this current pandemic is getting us right back to square, dude. It's I have had some fortunate business, and how well you do in business that year allows you to maybe pursue a few things or have a little hobby or buy something, right? So I've always wanted to get a car ever since I sold my 51. I've been dying to replace it. And I came close to doing that, but I backed right off. I got really close. I found the car. I did all my homework. I went to see the guy. I negotiated with them. I did the financing. I got approved. I did all this shit. And it was like the Tuesday before the Wednesday when all this stuff went sideways. I kind of called the guy up 9 o'clock in the morning. He's expecting me to go pick up a car, a $50,000 sports car. I got to tell him, like, dude, I got to take a fucking pause over here. And I think that we're all that way. We're fortunate, aren't we, though, that our hobby lends itself to the soft side of things. I mean, we're not talking about somebody stepping up and spending $5,000, right? But the beauty is that for under $1,000, a guy could be rolling, and you really help with that. Tell folks a little bit about maybe an idea of what they can expect price-wise to get into a GTS frame, a kit. I know that you've been busy, so give us a sense of what the back order time is and what's the easiest way for them, once they do call you, have their credit card ready, right, to make the purchase so that they can have theirs sometime soon.
We can do that. Basically, I try to keep the frames simple, that they're affordable and they work. As you can see, they're out there racing and just cruising, whatever you want it for, they work. Basically, you start off with like a $550 bike. I think pretty much anybody can afford that. It's all brand new. It's Predator engine, good wheels, good frame. They're all made in LA, They're made by me. I'm the only one that touches them. There is a little wait time right now. Like I said, I'm really blessed right now that with all this shit going on, we are pretty busy. We don't have traffic at the shop, but we are pretty busy. But the wait time is about 2.5 weeks. It's not bad, but we can make it happen.
Great, Raf. And do you suggest that they go to the site to get the contact information to phone you, or would you prefer to maybe give them your phone number now?
I could give them the phone number now. The shop number is area code 323-817-9238.
Do you mind repeating that one more time for us, Raf?
323-817-9238.
Rafa, last year, in your generous fashion, not only did you come there with literally a small community, you must have had 25 folks joining you from the GTS hobby family. Thank you for that, because it is family for all of us, and I really appreciate that. Welcome Jim Savas to the podcast, and Dave Luce, my good buddy. Dave Luce, my oldest friend in California. How cool it is to see you, Dave. The moose is on the loose. So Rafa, your position within this hobby, your reputation amongst those that count, particularly those here on the West Coast and now nationally, makes it really simple to tell you something that I think is a little bit overdue. On behalf of myself, Evil Ed, and everybody here at JMBR, I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize you and invite you to join Jake Moe as a member of the 2020 Joe's Minibike Reunion Hall of Fame. You're inducted, and congratulations, and I can't wait to formally see you, hopefully when all this goes sideways in October, to present it formally. But everybody, please, let's welcome Rafa to the Hall of Fame, Joe's Minibike Reunion, with so many folks that have done so much in this industry, and now, Rafa, you're a part of that club. So thank you so much, and congratulations.
Well, thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody, everybody sticking to the hobby. We're not letting it go, and we're going to keep going.
Yep. Last year, in your generous fashion, you provided us with a frame to give away. And, we were pretty fortunate because we had that one, but we also had one, Rafa, from a gentleman that's really dear to our heart. And he was the first Hall of Famer for Joe's Minibike Reunion, Dave Miller. And as you may know, Dave has been going through some really tough health-wise challenges, He was going to join us on the podcast tonight, and unfortunately, he was unable to. In the hospital, there's so much going on, and the treatment that he's been getting for the radiation alone keeps him up at night. But there's a name of a doctor, and I don't want to butcher it. An oncologist informed him that he somewhat had to be quarantined. And although Dave was hoping to be on the podcast himself to talk to everybody and give him an update about what's happening with him, he's unable to. But I know Dave, they tell him, don't do this. And, it's like telling you, Rafa, don't go to the shop. Like, right. Even though Dave is battling some terrible, terrible health challenges. And this is a dude, Rafa, when you meet those dudes who rode motorcycles, they have those forearms that are like our calves or our thighs. Yeah. They shake your hand and you feel like a girl. Well, that's Dave, an electric personality, intelligent beyond compare, talented physically with the motorcycle, legendary status, right? And then he wakes up and has a terrible health awakening, and he's got a GoFundMe page. It's Dave Miller. You can go to GoFundMe. Easy to find. Just Google it. And there's a story and an update. The updates are very timely. And the last time I looked at it, it was tough for him. If you would like to, like so many of us here at JMBR, have a chance to maybe support Dave's GoFundMe page, I would appreciate that. I know that they
Absolutely.
And Rafa, it's that caliber of a guy who entertained so many of us and taught so many of us and got us motivated. I remember when he'd bring out his bikes to Joe's Minibike Reunion. When Dave Miller came to my mini bike show with his bikes, dude, they could have stopped it. I didn't even have to do another one. I had already, that would have been it for me. Just knowing that we got him out there, to see how much he's embraced the event and how important it is for him. I'd like to help support him, but he's that caliber of guy that the class that you're in, Rafa, because you're that caliber of a guy too. So thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the podcast. I'll circle back with you at a more appropriate time. Folks, a couple weeks, you have to wait for a frame. If you'd like to get in the GTS Hobbies line, this could be the time to do it. Go ahead and do it. Special welcome to Joe's Minis, my buddy Chris Karak. How are you? Steve Kusik. Rafa, how about a couple of shout outs to some folks that are near and dear to you? I know that you had a pretty large crew there of talented guys and gals. Who'd you like to give a shout out to before we let you take off?
First of all, I want to shout out to my guys at the shop. They've been kicking ass, working hard. And all my customers they're real loyal. And just be patient. Here comes a tournament. We're coming.
Yeah. Speaking of that, there had been a group of folks, especially the local SoCal diehards, who knew of the notoriety of the tournament that you had and the event you had. Now, I know as of last year, and obviously events on a whole, it's even foolish to even talk about events considering what we've got to deal with, what's out there with the virus. But you've kind of transitioned and been a much bigger part of Joe's Minibike reunion in light of the fact that you've kind of taken a little bit of a pause with your own invitational event. So hopefully as we get through this, Rafa, and I know that we'll all get through this and we'll all be there for each other. But I know I'll see you and everybody from GTS Hobbies in full force in October here in beautiful La Crescenta. So thank you, Raf.
Sure will. You're welcome. We'll be there.
Awesome. Emmanuel has listed the GoFundMe link for Dave Miller. And once again, thank you, everybody. Congratulations to Rafa Ramirez for being inducted into the Joe's Minibike Reunion 2020 Hall of Fame. We appreciate everything that you continue to do for the hobby. So thanks again, Rafa.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you, guys.
All right, so guys, check this out. If you'd like to be eligible, I've got a Joe's Minibike Reunion, really cool. It's like a Dickies work shirt buttoned up with an embroidered patch. It's available as well as a Pioneer receiver. Once again, congratulations to Brian and Green Hornet for winning last week's prizes, the Juggernaut from Go Power Sports and the Pioneer Car Audio. Also like to give a shout out, Studs Racing gave away to Dave Darnell a Coleman front end kit. So thank you for that as well. If you'd like to be eligible to win the prizes that we have for this podcast, go ahead and email, and it's sales, S-A-L-E-S, at Motor Media Inc., MOTORMEDIAINC.com. In the subject, put podcast number 2 promotion. That's all you have to do to be eligible. We'll randomly pick a name, 2 of them. We'll give away the prizes at the end of the show. You know, the UPS was shut down, right? The postman comes over once in a while between the friggin' gloves and the face mask and the tarp. I don't know if he's able to pull all the shit that I leave for him in the mailbox. So if you win something, it's going to take some time, right? Relax. In fact, let me just stop the podcast right now. Hi, Linda Hargrave. How are you? Good. Thanks for tuning in. How's Joe? Oh, great. Linda, did you like the apparel that we sent out? Good. I know Joe and I share the same name. Would you congratulate him on his retirement and the upcoming sale of the company? Thank you. And when you sell, do you mind sending me a couple $1 million? Because, you know, we keep the lights on. All right, thank you. Linda Hargrave, Joe Morrow, thank you for listening. All right, so let's get to Evil Ed again. E, any update? Have we paid him? Has he got his last residual check? Well, that's on me, huh? Yeah. Well, Ed, if you're listening, Emmanuel is going to message you or text you the link. And if you can't get through, then damn, Ed, it just won't be the same. This would be the first podcast in 5 years that you weren't, well, almost. Hey, I want to say hi to Brian Ekstrom. Brian and his daughter Bree and his wife Jen, thank you for listening in to the podcast. We had a box that went out to you. Brian's been a good friend and fan of the podcast for a while. He's freezing his balls off in Minnesota. I want to take an opportunity to give a couple shout outs, and then we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with the Joe's Minibike Reunion roll call. How we doing on time, E? Oh, actually, still got a little bit more time. Great. So, all right. So let's take a moment to recognize a few folks. Couldn't start recognizing anybody without Linda, Boom Boom, and Nicole. And I want to also give a shout out to my man, Dave, Gail, Jerry. Thank you for listening in. I also want to reach out to and say hi to my nephew, Corey, and Gary Jr. and Mimi and Marv. I think Marv may be listening in. Marv, too bad we didn't have a chance to see you. Marv had a trip. Marv is Linda's older brother, the original Marv. Hello, Joe Pedroia. Good to see you. Marv had a trip planned for April, and Marv's staying home. Goddamn right. Like so many of us, you know, unfortunately. So our trip with Marv, but who knows? Maybe we'll see Marv a little bit later on this year. Thank you for listening in. I want to say hello to, hopefully Dave Miller is listening. Dave, if you are listening, once again, we posted the link for the GoFundMe page. If you have a chance, support Dave. I had an opportunity last night to speak to a good friend of the podcast and the event, a member of the Joe's Minibike Reunion Hall of Fame, Minibike Paul. Minibike Paul is called after I reached out to him to say that he was in the hospital. So my first question was if he had, hi Corey, love you too. If he had the virus, right? It's like, hey Paul, do you have the virus? Because, you know, he's got a couple of really cool scat kitties and a nice bonanza. If he's fucking gonna die of the virus, I'm gonna swoop in. No, just kidding. So, hey Paul, do you have the virus? Like, no, it's like good. He had kidney stones, and he just got rushed to the hospital on Sunday, and he wasn't doing too good. So after about 10 minutes with him on the phone, breaking balls, and Paul's a worldly guy. He's not afraid to say what's on his mind. And believe me, him and I have had a couple battle royales, but I've grown to love him and respect him. And I don't like him being in the hospital. I definitely didn't want to hear that he had this virus. So I don't know if he shit out those kidney stones or if they yank him out of your nuts, but he's okay. He's on the mend. And Paul, along with many other folks, about a dozen folks that we know, I bet it does, Steve. I hope that you don't have it. We were just talking about this. Yes, having that virus is terrible. Hopefully none of us have it, or no one that we know has it or will get it. But Paul called up with good news, and he, along with about 11 others, helped us film some, I guess you could call them PSA spots. And maybe, E, if you'd like to, before we go to break, you can run a couple of the ones that you'd like. And then during the break, we're going to continue to run these spots, and they're be safe spots. Jake Moe created some, Montoya, Dutch, Isaiah Gibbs, good friends Amy and Jim Savis, my buddies Eric from Studs, as well as Evil Ed, Joe Pedroia, Cliff Judd, Jack from 818 Minibikes, Boom Boom did one, Ray from Steady Garage. All those folks urging us all to kind of stick together. E, why don't you run a couple of them? We'll come back quick, and then we'll go to a break. We'll break for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back with the National Joe's Minibike Reunion roll call, where we'll traipse across the states of the United States and find out what's happening across this good old USA, and talk to some of the guys that make our minibike nation tick. What do you got, E?
This is Ralph from GT's Hobbies in California. I urge you to stay safe, stay inside, be careful. We will be riding again soon. Take care, JMBR family.
Hey all you cool cats and kittens, Joe's Minibike Reunion Nation. Just a friendly reminder to stay home. You ain't gonna go nowhere. Coronavirus is the real deal. Hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your husband, because coronavirus getting everybody up in here. We'll ride soon enough. Be cool.
What's up, Joe's Minibike Reunion Nation? What's going on? This is Montoya from Minibikes or Us out of St. Louis. I want everybody to stay in the house, stay safe, and let y'all know we'll be riding soon again. Thanks.
Hey, what's up, JMBR? This is Jake Moe from MoFab Co. I just want to encourage you guys to stay safe out there. Stay inside, wear your mask, do what you got to do. Hopefully we can put this COVID thing behind us and get back out on our bikes. Have a good one.
Hey everybody, this is Evil Ed from Colima, California, and I urge you guys to stay inside and take care of yourselves, and we'll be riding again real soon. We'll get through this, JMBR family. Hope everyone is doing good, and I will talk to you a little later. Bye.
Hey, JMBR Nation, this is Ray from California. I just want to say, be safe out there, wear your mask like I am, and self-quarantine if you're sick. Stay home, we'll get through all this, and we'll be riding again. Once again, thank you.
This is Ralph from GT's Hobbies in California. I urge you to stay safe, stay inside, be careful. We will be riding again.
All right. How cool, huh? And, you know, I tread lightly on some of this stuff. And I wanted to just get this out there. If you're one of the folks that helped us, share these if you don't mind. Rafa looks great. Thank you, Boom Boom. Ed was great. Ed sent his videos in sideways, so we had to switch them around. Welcome to the podcast. Once again, Cal Carisi. Calvin Carisi. How about Calvin Carisi? In fact, Calvin, I was waiting for your spot. Maybe you can include those. In fact, I invite everybody. If you'd like to, you saw what we did. Go ahead and create a 10-second little spot similar to the ones that you saw. You can mix it up a little bit, send it to us. And as we rotate these podcasts, we'll continue to feature yours. And if you want to be animated or maybe take it behind one of your bikes or in front of one of your bikes, that would be cool. But yeah, everybody be safe. To your point, Cal, thanks for watching. Calvin Carisi. And again, I'd like to thank everybody who helped us with that. It was kind of quick. And we do have some others that will run during the break and then at the end of the show. So stay tuned towards the end. And once again, if you'd like to have an opportunity to win a Pioneer receiver or what the hell else are we giving away? A custom Joe's Minibike Reunion button-up garage shirt, which is really cool. Send in an email to sales@Motor Media Inc. and just put on the topic there, podcast number 2 promo. Big welcome to my brother-in-law, Michael Tellerico. How are you, Michael? Michael's out there in Florida. I think they just opened the beaches back up there. They do things a little bit differently there, but why not? I'd also like to give a shout out to Alina, our niece, as well as Emma Rose in Sicily. They send us videos to keep us entertained. It's tough because, we don't have a chance to talk to a lot of friends and family during all this because we're trapped inside. So go ahead and reach out as often as you can. And if anybody would like to take a moment to maybe talk to somebody, we're always here for you as well. All right. So once again, we're going to try to get Evil Ed on the second half of the show, but we're going to kick back with the second half, which will be featuring the national roll call. And we'll be talking to folks across the U.S. Enjoy these 5 minutes of commercial spots. Please support our sponsors if you don't mind. And we'll be right back with a quick timeout. Before we break, a big VIP welcome to Mike Spataro. Mike, a good friend from Utica, New York. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the second half of the podcast.
Does your car stereo get you where you want to go? Why not upgrade it? Get easy navigation with Apple CarPlay on the new Pioneer Next. Don't break up with your car, upgrade it.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. It's season 5, episode 2. It's Joe -1. If anybody, this is an all-point alert. If anybody has seen Evil Ed, if anyone has contact with Evil Ed, I repeat, Ed Roulette, have Ed check his emails or text from Emmanuel, and we look forward to him joining us on the podcast. I talked to Ed this morning. Ed's been working a couple hours a day out in the valley, and it's good for him. You know, he can continue to make a little bit of money, get active, but Ed's not wearing no gloves. Ed's not wearing no mask. Ed's wearing the same pants this week, the whole week. He ain't going to protect himself. So we're expecting Ed to be good. If you can hear us, Ed, I don't know, knowing Ed, he could be out clubbing. Recently, you know, every once in a while he gets calls from Hollywood because he fits that typical biker look. And he's a part of this Rolodex that the Hollywood folks call from these character actor agencies. And last I heard, he had a little Hollywood gig, and he doesn't talk about it. Many of you don't know about that. That's been happening. So hopefully Ed's doing a little bit of Hollywood work on the side. I want to get to the roll call, but before I do, I want to give a few shout outs. I want to give a shout out to, you know, I've got everybody in my family, but I have got a final shout out to Joe Merlot in Florida, right? We forgot that. Karen Kraus, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I have to put on my glasses here quick. And I want to get to these roll call guests because they've been staying up late, and I thank them. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Joe, Isaiah, Jack, and Vinny. I think we got maybe one more. So a couple things. We're launching a new podcast, Emmanuel and I. It's called The Aftermarket Insider. It's going to be launching on April, I don't know, what do we say? The 14th. April the 14th on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. It's called The Aftermarket Insider. It's on the 14th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'm working on some really cool guests, okay? They run from the higher management at SEMA, where obviously that big event is the talk of the industry due to the coronavirus and the fact that that event is the straw that stirs this industry, the aftermarket. What's going to happen with that show? Especially based on the fact that it was going through some major renovation these upcoming years. And the fact that I would imagine some of that's had to be stalled, right? So what does that do? A heavy attendance of international exhibitors, particularly from China in the North Hall. What are the, I guess, expectations, alternatives, and plans for the upcoming SEMA show? Other folks ask if it'll happen. Hopefully we'll have somebody on there that could speak to those questions in the industry. I'm looking forward to having manufacturers like Mark Gurman from Green Filters, Ted Cardenas from Pioneer, and many others, industry leaders like Peter McGillivray and Jonathan Moore from Bonnier Events, Brad Gerber from NHRA, Ira Gabriel and Mike Robledo from the SEMA Young Guns, as well as others like Ron Coleman, Joey Granatelli, and who knows, maybe someone that's listening now. It's inside information. It's guests that I've had a really cool opportunity to meet and know and understand over these 45 years I've been in this industry. I add like 4 or 5 years, one way or the other every year, but it's been a long time. I think they like me. I know I dig them. And even make sure that I have some folks that I don't like on the podcast. We'll keep it interesting too, right? But we definitely have some entertaining times doing it. Hopefully you'll be joining us. It's the Aftermarket Insider, produced by Emmanuel Munda and hosted by yours truly. Check it out. Tell a friend. All right. So the end of the show, I typically give out shout outs and I forget everybody. So I know it's going to happen again this time. So before we get into the national roll call guests, I want to give a few shout outs if I could. Minibike Paul in the hospital, you get better. Everybody send Minibike Paul a thumbs up. We talked about Dave Miller. Again, if you can go to the GoFundMe page and support Dave, I'd really appreciate it. Molly Morrow, good to see you, Mike. Great work with you're doing online. Dave Darnell, Ruben Rodriguez, and all my brothers from the Honda Grom Lifestyle, my buddy Bing. Incidentally, every night we would typically ride on Friday nights. We can't do that anymore because of the virus, right? So all of the Honda Grom Lifestyle rides for Friday night, dude, they're not happening. So I know what my Honda Ground lifestyle guys like to do. So keep doing it. I'd like to take a moment to give a big shout out to Kevin and Ray at Steady Garage. Those guys hooked me up and took good care of me with my Honda Monkey and did everything from changing out the rear sprocket and chain to adding a Shimura intake and K&N filter. We swapped out the lights. We swapped out the mirrors. I want to thank out Big E over at Yoshimura for the awesome setup with my header and my exhaust, as well as the LED turn signals and the clean tidy tail in the back. Yoshimura, a big part of Joe's Minibike Reunion, the event coming forward in October. I kind of say that like we're going to do it, so I'm maintaining some optimism. So thank you to those guys. I'd like to thank Home Alone, Bill Brousseau, Sam B, and all those folks over at the Cocor Racing family. Home Alone, I mentioned him. Hopefully have him on the show again. Greg Gulibro, my buddy Neil Copeland from Canada, Andrew Latham, Lamb Johnson, Lee Smith, Ian McKinnon, Andrew Latham. I would be remiss to not give a special warm JMBR happy birthday to the lovely, talented, gorgeous mom. See a note here that says fuck Karen Baskin. Happy birthday, Courtney Pelton, Miss Jake Moe. Beautiful lady, tolerates all of us, including Justin Bett, who wouldn't leave their house. Happy birthday, Courtney. I have a bib that's on its way for Daisy as well. All right. I want to thank, and I invite you guys, incidentally, like the page. For, I guess, the first 5 years, I didn't ask you to like the page, Joe's Minibike Reunion page. Like the page, okay? I think we got 3,000 people in there, 3,600 people. Let's go for like 5. I don't know. So like it. Then people, you can follow it but not like it. How the fuck do you do that? If you don't like, just figure it out. All right, Anthony Hubbard, Debbie, there's a good one. Debbie Randerman Giamalavala. Jesus Christ, Debbie. Dalton Conrad, Dane Walton, my main man. John Alberico, hey, there's a name from Utica, New York, a name from the past. Rick Robatello, Ronnie DeSalvatore. My man, Ricky Truum. Good to see you, Ricky. Dave Bertel. Mentioned my buddy Brian, Bill O.G. Rutman, my buddy Rick Watson and his wife, Rick. Rick is a cool guy. I talked to him on the phone about the Little Indian. I have that Little Indian bike that Cherie posed on. I think it's one of the most popular downloaded photos out there. It's available for sale. You can buy it. You can buy it like a frame, a 2 or 3 piece frame. It's got the 2-piece frame and the neck. I think that's 3 pieces. What do I know? You can buy them at Allied Leisure with or without suspension for $600 or $700. I priced this one at like $900 because it's ours. It's fucking history, man. It's got Cherie on it. Cherie sat on it. That's worth $300, right? So you can go buy a kit, or you can buy the one that's all ready to go. It's got an engine, a clutch brake. It's nice. It's cute. I'll autograph the thing. Who knows? Who cares? So Rick called up and he may buy it. I'd love for somebody in the family to buy it. And what I'm thinking about doing is donating the money to Dave Miller. So buy the friggin' mini bike and we'll give the money to Dave Miller. All right. I also want to thank Brian. Brian, how many times can I recognize you? Eric Adams, the Gray Goat. Eric has his weekly OMB Gray Goat show that's on Thursdays. Eric, check him out. I know Karen Krause is a big fan of Eric's, and we all are. He'll be another one of these personalities, and hopefully we'll cut one of these spots. In fact, Karen Krause, you have to cut one of these spots for us. Want to welcome Mark DeMarco, Gigi and Bree, Jeff Ramsey, my buddy John Connors from Daytona Beach, Florida, Cliff Judd, Tim and Taylor from Go Power Sports, and everybody from Go Kart USA, Al, Mario, and Emron. And I'm glad I got that done with. E, thank you for your patience. Let's go to, and guys, here's what we're going for. You know, we did this last time, and it was pretty cool. We had a little roll call, and people called from different parts of the states, and we did a little map, and we'll continue to do that. But we had folks that called up representing their states. It's a thumbnail. And as a result, I've got Vinny from Vinny's Minis last. Okay? I'm still talking to Vinny from Vinny's Minis from the last time I talked to him. He's still out talking on the phone. He's still on the phone. I got a fucking phone here. Look, Vinny's still talking on it. Hi, Vinny. No, I'm kidding. All right, so Vinny's last. We're going to save the best for last. So let's do this. Let's open up with Jack Boyd from 818 Minibikes. Jack, welcome to the podcast. And You're representing the Valley, baby, 818 Minibikes. How are you, my brother?
I'm good, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing good,
Joe. How are you?
I'm doing well. I heard that twice. I didn't realize. I know you're getting old, Jack, but I didn't realize now you're developing a stutter as well. Look at all those toys back there. What do I see? Some Schwinn fastbacks hanging from the ceiling there. What's lurking in there?
66 Schwinn Stingray right there.
Yes. We used to beat kids up who owned those bikes back in the day, Jack, but I know you're a tough guy. You work in security and all. I wouldn't try that with you. Jack.
You know where I live. You know where I live. Come on over.
Hey, you're also a drummer too. Talk to folks a little bit about, you're a multi-talented guy.
Yeah, I'm a drummer. We're in an old guys band called Revolution Road, and we play classic rock from the 60s and 70s.
And you also put on a really cool annual event in the Valley through your extension with the 818 Minibikes. And folks, you can check them out. They've got a Facebook page. Jack rounds up a bunch of old bastards like us and actually some young guys as well. It runs the gamut, guys, gals, families, folks like me, folks like Evil Ed. We all try to get with Jack annually for the ride. And Jack, I guess like so many other events, those annual gatherings that we take so much time and pleasure in attending and being a part of, they all become somewhat suspect now. What's the latest on your end?
Well, it's so far away. I don't think we can make any plan one way or the other. But if the world is still screwed up by next December, then we might have worse problems than not being able to ride our mini bikes. But I'm planning on it going forward. It's early or mid-December, and it's a holiday parade in Granada Hills, and we get to ride our mini bikes on the street, and it's been a lot of fun. And we got kids and old folks like us, and all kinds of people riding all kinds of different machines. As long as they're fun and have little engines, we let them ride.
Jack, I remember one of the first times I had talked to you, I got a phone call kind of out of the blue. And I'm older than you, so my memory is probably fuzzier than yours. But you had called up asking, sometimes I get random calls. It can range from a T-shirt to they don't like the mini bike frames because it sucks, and I'll build mini bike frames. So you called up and you asked if I knew anybody that I think you wanted somebody to finish a drag bike you had, or maybe start one, but whatever it was, I think I may have got you to MDB, and that led to another conversation. And before we knew it, I had a chance to connect with you at our event, and you've been great, brother. You've been there to help me on site as a participant and as a volunteer and as a judge. And you really showed your mettle with the judging last year. So I wanted to thank you. What are you doing now during this time to stay busy? You're multi-talented, so you got a lot of things that you can do, but are you working on any bikes now? What's happening with your mini bike collection and what's happening in your mini bike world representing the folks in the 818 SoCal area?
Well, my mini bike collection is pretty much stalled. You're looking at it right over here. I've got my little drag bike over there, and I got my Kicker 5150 there. And I don't know. I don't really have a plan to do anything more just yet. I don't have enough time to ride the ones I've got. But my business is considered an essential business. We're in the security services business, so all my guys are still working full time. I'm going to the office every day, and we're still staying real busy. So we've been lucky in that regard, and I'm counting my blessings and praying for the people that don't have a good situation. But yeah, mini bikes, I'm just anxious to get out there and get riding again. I've been wanting to go join Jake Moe for one of those high desert rides that they do, and I haven't been able to do that yet.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jake was on the podcast last week when we recognized him as one of the 2020 JMBR Hall of Famers, and he's biting at the bit too, Jack, to have something going. You'll be first on the list when those opportunities present themselves. I'll be riding right alongside there with you, I'm sure. In the meantime, thanks for kicking off the roll call. Take care of things over there with the 818 gang and your beautiful wife, and keep on drumming, brother.
Thank you, Joe. Good to see you tonight. Bye, everybody.
All right. There you have it. Jack Boyd, master drummer, security guy, I thought about it. Christ, I should have hired him to be security for Joe's mini bike reunion, but like two bad things would happen. I would lose a paying participant, and Mr. Black would beat the shit out of both of us. All right, but Jack Boy, thank you for joining us, brother. All right, so that's kind of how it works. We'll drop in on somebody. We'll find out what's happening from their perspective. I want to give a couple of shout outs to Iski, Tim Iskandarian. How are you, Tim? Thanks for tuning in. Obviously, Iski's got a ton of things going on tonight. Look, it looks as if we got Irving, the Green Hornet, chiming in. Justin Bett, good to see you, Justin. My buddy Edwin Preza. Spider Auto, check those guys out. In fact, Edwin would be a great guy to talk to on the Aftermarket Insider podcast. Edwin and I, at a time when it really wasn't happening, working with the SEMA specialist and my brother Brian Pake, put together a corral for the specially selected and invited vehicles that were equipped with Spider Auto lighting, and presented this corral outside the entrance into the center hall at the SEMA show. And that was something that Edwin and Brian and myself had a chance to put together. And it's nice to have smart guys like him on the podcast. Earlier, we had on my buddy John Barkley, my friends Chris Karak, Mike Spataro. Look at all this good stuff. We got a shout out again to all of our friends. Again, my buddy Brian, Bree, and Jess back in Minnesota. All right, so let's go to our next roll call person. I think it's my main man, Isaiah from Louisiana. Isaiah Gibbs, are you with us?
What's up, man? I'm here, alive, catching coons and grilling gators. What's good?
I think the last time I had a chance to, we do these foolish little, well, not foolish, they're necessary, but I make them foolish because I'm an idiot. But we do these little tests before the podcast, and Isaiah and I were going back and forth, and I was noting that manly mustache of his. Huh? What do you guys think about the mustache?
Man, I caught me a couple caterpillars and glued them up there. I think I'm catching all the babes pretty quickly.
Well, sure, man. I see you're sporting the Coker Tire shirt there.
I got that from y'all.
How'd you get that? Was that like a prize package we sent you, or was it some bogus long distance award, some damn thing, wasn't it?
No, it was, so y'all were at a Coker Car Show, and it was, you did a post picture of mini bikes with white walls, and I posted one. I got this. I got some stickers. Got a gift card, Coker Tire. It was
nice.
Cool.
Wade Kawasaki, the owner of Coker Tire, kind of a stone's throw and maybe a couple mullet flips over from where you are over to, they're in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. That's I don't know. It's a little ways away. I'm not going to lie. I have no idea how far it is.
It's a fur piece. It's a couple state bounds for you at least, but I got to tell you, Isaiah, if you made the trek over there, you have to see Coker Tire's place. Their shop is literally a museum. Everything from the first bicycle to the first motorcycle to the first V8. I mean, Corky Coker, the former owner, might as well be the damn governor of Tennessee. And what he's done with Coker Tire is amazing. And he finally handed off the baton. You get to that point where you're in your 80s, you just want to count money and relax and visit the grandkids. Well, he sold the Coker Tire to Wade Kawasaki, and they're doing some tremendous things. And you talked about their white walls for mini bikes. They're pretty cool. For anybody looking to go white, check them out at cokertire.com. All right. So I thought of you the other night. It was late, and I wasn't watching porn. It was fucking Swamp People. I got to ask you, before we get into this mini bike shit, you ever catch an alligator?
Have I ever caught one? No, but we were in a swimming pool, and my dad showed up at one that he caught. He's about 3 foot long, and he threw it in the swimming pool, and we turned to Jesus. We all walked on water, was out the pool in a split second.
Yeah, it's funny what they'll do.
Into an alligator.
Did you ever see the photo, and it's in Florida because all these photos are always from Florida, where the alligator is upright, like your mailman knocking on a door trying to get in a house in Florida? It was pretty.
Yeah. I've seen that one. Yeah. No,
all
I
right.
don't know where I live.
So you've been pretty much electronically connected to us for like the last hour, and you haven't created a fire of any sort.
Well, no, that bike is sitting right here. Actually, it's covered in mud. I broke the pull cord, so everybody's safe from burning down tonight.
That's how I remember Jake Moe. One of the first things he said is like, "You got to check out this Isaiah guy." He's like, "Joe, he literally puts flamethrowers on everything. And I started to follow some of your videos, and I think we had you on the podcast. Was it last year, maybe, or the year before?
Year before, 2018.
Yes. Yep. We received over, I think it was 5,800 positive reviews for that podcast on you. So I knew we had something there. So you have to, maybe you need an agent. Maybe you need an agent by now.
Oh, shoot, man. That wasn't me. That was a whole team pulling together. That was the nation.
I got to hook you up with my guy's Asian and farm truck. For some reason, I think you guys would connect well.
Yeah, shoot. Well, I'd love to team up with him. Go out, go do something fun, burn something down, burn some tires, burn whatever.
Well, I think we all would, and that's why we're calling. So what are you doing now during this time? What are you doing to stay busy? Are you working on any bikes? Do you have anything new that you're wrenching on?
Actually, I'm still going to work, building hot rods at Rocket Hot Rods right here in Amite, Louisiana. In fact, my boss and his wife were tuned in, which was a cool surprise.
Welcome them. What are their names?
Michael and Christina Dupuy.
Well, there's some job security right there, huh?
Oh, yeah. I love my job, I really do. And it's a blessing to be able to go to work every day and come back. I mean, I talked to a lot of people who are straight out of work. Like, they got no income. They can't go to work. And plus, shoot, there's actually a curfew in this area where you can't go out past 10 o'clock or before 6 a.m. And it's a little rough around here. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I get to go to work. I live a mile from work. I ride my bicycle sometimes. I rode a little scooter. I rode a mini bike home. I'm just blessed, man. I come home. I play with my boy. I got it's a 1971-72 called an All Sport. It's a trike TS 101, and I got a little 6.5 on it with a torque converter. And me and my boy, we seriously ride for 45 minutes to an hour every day. He's not even 2 years old yet. I come home and I'm like, dude, you want to ride? He goes, ride. And we hop on it, man, and we have a good time. It's the best thing. I enjoy it.
Yeah, you bring up a point that has been pretty common, where many guys have taken this time to work with their sons or work with their younger folks that are around the block and putting together mini bikes. So I dig that. What else can we expect? What else can we expect from you guys coming down the pike this year? I know that you like cars a lot, and I know that you're definitely into mini bikes. What's that next project that you got to get to, or you already got started on, that folks are going to want to know about?
All right, let me see if I can move this without breaking. I got you set up on a Mikuni carburetor and a flathead piston to where I can get the tilt right. Anyway, so I got it's a Mako Thunderbird. I've never really liked bikes, no offense to anyone out there, but I've got that one. I'm getting ready for the Texas Outlaw Mini Bikes. Oh, there goes the piston. For the Texas Outlaw Mini Bikes beach party in August on Crystal Beach. And we're got a 160 I'm going to put on it with dual exhaust out the back. I'm going to try to do the fish pipes to where I can do dual flamethrower on it. And kind of go in the same style like I did with the white one that you saw, the video that Jake showed you, kind of bicycle style, but incorporate it into the mini bike.
That sounds like
I don't know what.
That sounds like a cool little project you got there. I think that and I appreciate that, as you move the camera around, it's kind of distorting the audio in the visual. So look, a couple things. First of all, thanks for being a part of the National Roll Call. We got a handful of folks that we want to get to next. Our next guy is Joe Pedroia from Arizona. Isaiah, get going on that project. If folks want to keep up with you, what type of social media do you recommend where folks can maybe get a little bit of an idea of what you're up to, particularly with those flamethrowers?
Yeah, so you go to our Facebook page, and on Instagram, it's 3G Fabrications, and also you can send me your friend request. I'll accept it. I post a lot of stuff on 2 pages, also on the Texas Outlaw Mini Bikes page and on the NOLA Mini Bikes page. So if you go to those, I'm also posting a lot of my work on there. Like I said, you can send me a friend request. Follow me on Instagram, Isaiah3G. And yeah.
All right. And And that's numeric 3, the number 3, G, fabrications with an S at gmail.com. Isaiah Gibbs, giving us a little bit of insight on the down and dirty in Louisiana. Isaiah, thanks for your time. Look forward to staying in touch with you and talking to you this year. Be safe, brother. And don't forget, if you're driving,
really appreciate it.
Take the car.
Thank you.
All right, man. All right. So once again, if you'd like to be eligible to win the Joe's Mini Bike Reunion button-down garage shirt, I bought a dozen of these, and I think I may have brought all of them to Saudi Arabia, and we sold all but about 2 or 3 of them. And I wanted to make them available at the upcoming Joe's Mini Bike Reunion. And as I was looking around for things, obviously I got a garage full of Pioneer Car Electronics because they're so generous and they want us to feed the machine. I want to thank Ted and everybody at Pioneer Electronics for their generous support and helping again with the podcast and the event. But we got the prize package. We're going to break it down to 2 lucky winners. Send an email. It's through email only. Email sales, SALES at Motor Media, MOTOR Media, MEDIA Inc. INC.com, Joe at Motor Media, or sales at MotorMediaInc.com. We'll pick randomly 2 winners at the end of the show. All right. There's a guy that, everybody knows him. Let's put him on. Joe Pedroia, representing the state of Arizona, known in the automotive world for RPM Motor Cars. Guy's part of the $10 million zillion club of folks that have sold that large volume of revenue and vehicle sales through Barrett Jackson. He hooked me up, 1 phone call, predicted it like fucking Kreskin, how quickly it would sell, what I would sell it for. I think he paid me to do it. I may have given him like $500 and I should have paid him $5,000. He's been a great friend of the show and the podcast. Joe Pedroia. Joe, welcome to the podcast. How are you, brother?
What's up, buddy? Can you hear me good?
I certainly can. Joe, I can hear you from Arizona without a microphone.
All right. Yeah, that's true.
Well, what's happening? Welcome back to Facebook.
Yeah, I was on a little hiatus there for a while. Every now and then you gotta, mellow out and take a little break.
Hell no. Be yourself and keep us entertained. I love the haircut. Did you give yourself a haircut? I gave myself a haircut.
No, but you know what? There's been a lot of videos of people doing their own haircuts and shit. And my nephew and a buddy they did a Facebook Live the other night and they shaved both their heads. They're down in Florida. And I told him, I said, listen, here's what you got to do. He was halfway through the other kid's head. I said, take the shaver, now throw it in the pool and leave.
So you know what happened to me, Joe? And it's a Big Brother. I go online because all I've been doing, like a silly 12-year-old girl struggling with pimples and everything else, I'm on my phone like a bitch. I must be on that phone fucking 25 hours a day because I'm bored out of my mind. I'm watching podcasts. I'm on eBay. I'm on Craigslist. I'm on Auto Trader. That's
what I'm doing. Same thing.
So I must have at some point on, I think it's YouTube. I think it's friggin' YouTube, right? I must have Googled, and I'm sure I did, cutting your own hair. And I found like a video or 2. Well, that must have been like 12 o'clock at night. I just smoked a joint the size of your head. I was on my couch. The next morning I wake up, and I'm probably like you. I wake up, I got to search for the glasses now. I touch everything. I finally find the phone, and I, like an idiot, before I can even get out of bed, I'm already looking at the phone. 55 videos of cutting your own hair because I searched for one the night before. So before I'm even out of my bed, I've watched 5 videos of idiots shaving their own hair to the point where I'm like, you know what? I could do it myself. I don't tell my wife. I start cutting. And honestly, between doing my own hair and taking my wife's acrylic nails off, I'm also a manicurist. I think I'm going to go into the business if this mini bike shit don't work out,
Yeah, this shutdown made us do a lot more things than we never did before. And that's no lie.
Well, you almost, I won't say controversial, but you guys were riding in Arizona during a time where a lot of states were shut down. What was the thought on that? I know that you're a pretty smart guy, and I know that you typically are regulated by the state. Did Joe have you guys quarantined, or are you riding against the wind? What's going on with you guys?
A little bit of both. We were riding up until they did the not so much demand to stay in the house, but recommended to shelter in place. You know, there's not a lot of cases out here compared to other parts of the country. And we've done a couple rides a couple weeks ago, and last week we did our dirt track, oval flat track race, and I videoed that and put that up on my channel and whatnot. But you know, right now I'm not doing much. I get up, I go to my shop in the morning, do a couple things at the shop. There's nothing to do there basically. So I've been filming video and I've been filming content for the channel, and that's been going on pretty good. And I'm going to do another one. I did one today. I just launched it. I'm doing another one tomorrow. So that's keeping me busy. I don't have any cars in my shop. I got a dozen cars sitting in Florida that were shipped down there from Barrett Jackson, West Palm Beach to my brother's shop, who's in Tampa. And then from there, we send them down to West Palm. Well, right after everything got there, everything got cold. So all my stuff, I got nothing in my shop to play with except for my own cars. So I'm kind of high and dry for a little while. But I'm working some deals. I got a couple things sold, and you just got to kind of deal with it, shift gears, and move on. I mean, that's what you do. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing since I was 15 in this business. So,
you know, Joe, this current coronavirus pandemic crisis, whatever the hell you want to call it, has really it came out of nowhere. I ended, and I mentioned what I thought I ended to be a really good year last year, and so in so many ways. It took a real foul turn in a way, obviously, that we haven't seen before. And I wonder if things will not only be the same in terms of things like driving and a need for a car, but like I'm a sales guy, right? Like so many of us, where interaction and attending events and being with people and going to their shop and visiting and talking with their workers and having dinners and all those elements that were part of the fabric of how we did business, they changed now. I wonder if it'll ever be the same. I wonder if I'll ever get in my car and drive to Huntington Beach and take out Shane and Dennis for lunch at Mother's and talk about the Minibike show, or maybe the SEMA show, or maybe the Saudi Arabia show. I wonder if those days of doing things will ever be the same. I wonder if I'll have an event in October. I wonder if we'll see everybody like I'm so used to and I just took for granted every year at my show or at the upcoming, we're going to go to the Pate Swap Meet. I think we're looking forward to attending. We would have been going there, right?
We would have been going week after next. We would have been heading to Texas.
So that part of it is what I'm trying to get over with. And all I'm really doing is just trying to stay simple. Like if nothing else, what are you doing throughout all this? I know that the main game, and for those of you who may not know, Joe and his family and Joe's DNA is flipping cars. Dig deep and you'll find out that he had his own show. Was it Lords of the Cars or what was it, Joe?
Yeah, it was Lords of the Car Hordes like 6 years ago on Discovery.
So I actually spent just about a week with Rick while I was in Saudi Arabia. And I'll have to tell you some offline stories about Rick Dorr and his attempts at selling Shangri-La in Saudi Arabia. And I thought he actually had a deal at the very end for a few $100,000. I just don't think it worked out. I don't know that it was that great of a deal for him. I have some good stories about Goldberg and Goldberg's attempt at selling his car. Chip Foose was out there, as you know, with he had 2 or 3 cars along with Chris, who you know well from overhauling, Chris Jacobs. Chris had one of his cars out there. So many of the guys, Joe, that you run around with and have been kind of rubbing elbows with forever in the auction arena, they brought some of their game to Saudi. And I touched a little bit on it on last podcast, but you and I hadn't had a chance to download. In fact, I remember when I first got back, it's like, dude, I want to catch up. I want to talk. I want to find out. It's like,
you were like, call me next year.
Call me in February. And I meant it. I swear, I said that probably came across like some dickhead deal.
No, I knew you had a lot of shit happening. So
plus Joe, and it wasn't always great either. I got photos. Hey, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Clarence Barnes. Clarence Barnes was with us in Saudi Arabia. Clarence, the voice of Joe's Minibike Reunion and the voice of iHeartRadio in LA. fucking Clarence was just with Beyonce and Jay-Z and little somebody and what's her name's sister, and he knows all those cool hip spots and hangs out with Big Boy and all those famous DJs. So thank you, Clarence, for chiming in. I see we got Brad DeMoisey chiming in. Our friend Sam Blackburn. You remember Sam Blackburn, and obviously Justin Bett. You been keeping up with the guys, Joe?
Yeah. We're all, we're all always on Facebook goofing around and screwing off, especially during this time. Everybody's putting a lot more hours and time in the Facebook and social media. So everybody's still there. You're not avoiding it, especially right now. When things change and start to go back to normal, which is going to take a little bit of time, and is going to be a relearning curve. And there's going to be stuff that, like you said, that's not going to come back. And the stuff that's going to come back and be totally different. I think the one big thing out of this whole deal, it's a real culture shock, and getting smacked in the face with an aluminum baseball bat to probably some of these younger guys and girls, in that, I don't know, probably that 20-something era, maybe high teens to mid to upper 20s.
The Bernie crowd?
Yeah, basically. This is reality. And, a lot of them don't know how to handle it because they crumble under pressure. So it's actually good, every now and then to get a swift kick in the balls. It keeps you humble. Teaches you a few things,
This one was a pretty tough kick in the balls, and then it was a knee to the head. And as we got up, it was a slap in the face. I think we took a few more punches than the typical after-school beatdown.
Without a doubt, you're 100% right,
And Joe, it's guys that stimulate groups that are really important during this time. And I'll close with this. First of all, people love your teeth. I've got 27 comments about your smile, and one of them is, two of them are from a guy, one of them is from a girl. So you're tracking okay. There's a leadership quality that you've always had. And that last video reminded me of it again. You took all those guys out, you corralled them all. Between a weekend, you did the Friday night, late night ride. People were getting ready for it like fucking Christmas. Then you had them all riding laps in the dirt with those big tire bikes and full gear. And there you were commenting and doing the play-by-play and shooting the videos and encouraging the folks. And dude, I love that. I see myself in you. I hope you feel the same way. And let's just keep making things going together. Talk a little bit about the videos and where folks can watch your videos and what's the latest on that content. And then we're going to take off and we're going to see Mike Hughes, and he's going to tell us what's happening in Texas. Thanks for holding on, Mike.
Everything's going good. Videos are coming along. Muscle Minibike page on YouTube. Been uploading videos last week or so. I think I put 3 up. I'll probably have another 3 up by the weekend. And, just trying to get the channel going. I got nothing else to do, so I might as well just build the content. Go Power Sports helps me out with some product. And I got enough projects in my shop to keep me busy for 6 months. So I can do a video a day if I want to. And right now I'm just having fun doing it. And I fortunately and unfortunately, I have the time to be able to do it. So I might as well make the best of it, not get myself upset, take a little stress out, have a little fun, screw around with my bikes. And that's it. What else are we going to do, right?
Yeah, keep it simple. The old KISS rule. Well, there you have it, Joe. Thank you again for being a part of the podcast. Thank you again for all that you continue to do, not only in Arizona, but within the community. And thanks for being a good friend, Joe. I look forward to catching up with you soon, and continued success to you. Be safe.
You got it, buddy.
Yep. Look forward to catching up with you, hopefully within the next month or so, Joe. Have a good one.
Yeah, next couple of weeks we'll get together, we'll talk, whatever, and be good. Enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks for having me on. Everybody have a good one. Stay safe, and we'll all get through this together. Take care.
Yes, we will. Welcome to the podcast. Let's see here. Angie Hughes, Eric Shingles, good to have you on. Eric was a part of the promotional spots effect. Joe Pedroia was as well. Thank you for that. Stephanie Cultura Loker, good to see you, Stephanie. Hope you're still listening in. And I want to give a shout out to Boom Boom, my buddy Chris Karak, Adam Wolf, good to see you. Mark edible or edible. I'll take the former. Let's see, Clarence Barnes. All right, and Ian Cordova. Ian, I need a spot from you. All right, Jim Savis, and Amy from Santa Monica. Those are the guys. They're the cute super couple from Santa Monica. They come to the car show, the Minibike show every year with Hank, the Labrador Cockerdoodle. It's like a person. They cut a spot for us as well. Jim and Amy, if you're listening, thank you for that. All right, so we're going to go next to a guy that I wanted to get to last week, Mike Hughes. Mike is the man, the myth behind, to a large degree, the gatherings in Texas. The Texas Outlaw Minibike is the name you're probably familiar with. I like to watch their videos. Mike don't fuck around. Mike's out there making fun happen. They're riding mini bikes on the ocean. They love cars. They love mini bikes. They love rockabilly, like fun. And they just came up with, just came off the heels of a cool endurance race that they had out there. I wanted to have Mike on last podcast, but it was our first podcast, and I really didn't have our shit together. Mike's been patient, and we've got him live on the podcast. Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, man.
Oh, look at you. You're looking good back there. Looks like, what was that, Sons of Anarchy? I like
oh, man, no.
In a good way, Hey,
the chairman of the board.
Yes. The HMFIC. Do you know what the HMFIC stands for?
No.
The head motherfucker in charge.
Oh, there you go, man.
That's you. Hey, Mike, thank you. All kidding aside, how have you been? And it looks like you had a pretty good time with that endurance race. Tell folks a little bit about what's happening over there in Texas. And we just got done with that endurance race. Who were some of the top riders there?
Oh, man. Tommy Young Jr. just killed it. Ryan, oh, shit. You got me on it. Stanley Mount ended up taking first. GPS rider. Go Power Sports, man.
Congratulations.
These guys did. It was a mile-long track. They did 26 laps in an hour. Unreal. We found out gas caps vibrate off over so many miles. So there's a hint for everybody and all the manufacturers. You know.
What did you do? That's a little duct tape, right? After the first time that thing was off.
Next year, that's going to be mandatory. We're going to have to duct tape them shut just because we had a fire, first one of a race. So, but live and learn, man. You know.
Well, and you know, Mike, you're an older dude like I am. Duct tape was great for whenever you cut your elbow or your face. You just squeeze together and duct tape, and you got automatic stitches. So duct tape.
Yeah. Now we do super glue, man.
Oh yeah. See, thank God that shit wasn't around when I was young. I still can't get the super glue off of my fingers from the last time I used it. So, Mike, I see a lot of big tire bikes out there in Texas. Obviously, you're riding out there in the ocean, but that endurance race seems like it would call out for a big tire. Is it a big tire world out there in Texas or what?
No, man, our tracks vary. You never know what you're going to get on a team track, man. And that's a fact. You never know. We don't know till we get there sometimes. But you know, to the credit of all the riders, they look at it and they learn it and they race it and make it a good race, man. You know.
So how big is that tomb crowd? I see a lot of guys that are a part of it. How many guys can you expect at a tomb event or a typical tomb ride?
We average 30 to 50 per event.
Wow.
It all depends. A lot of the smaller local events might be a little lower in numbers, but the last couple years, our chapters have done a lot, man. I give so much credit to our chapters, man. We got a Austin chapter, a Fort Worth chapter, a South Texas chapter, and then the mothership, which is, the Houston chapter pretty much.
Who are some of those guys that are leading those key chapters for you? Who are some of the guys behind those areas?
Man, you got Tommy Young Jr. out there. You've got Shane Kornhauser, Andy Serlis. You've got Javi and our buddy Elmas Puto out there, man. And they make stuff happen. I can't be everywhere, and these guys, they make stuff happen in their local areas. They really kind of cover my butt and make me look good. That's the truth.
And Mike, what is it that you ask them to do for you?
Usually when there's an event, if it's local in their area, they go and check, talk with the sponsor the promoter. They deal with checking out the tracks, getting the tracks lined out. Pretty much chapters kind of cover the events in their area. And that eliminates a lot of driving, because if you got to go from Houston, you know how big Texas is.
I'm still driving through Texas. When I drove out here from Florida with at the time, my girlfriend, Linda, we drove. We stopped in Dallas. We were in Little Rock, Arkansas. We got to Dallas. And then I just remember driving, Mike, and driving. We would see this. I remember a couple of things. I remember being able to drive in, fill up a Ryder truck for like $18 and buy cold beer that was in a cooler on ice. And I remember Waco, Texas, passing that because we were calling it Wacko. And then I just remember it didn't end. The state of Texas never ended. I've since gone back, and I've been a big fan of the Dallas area where I was a part of and helped produce the Sport Truck Nationals. I have a good friend, Wayne Davis, who lives in the Fort Worth area. And Wayne, like Joe Pedroia, is a high-end car collector and seller. And, what's big out there is truck conversions. I don't need to tell you, but Texas has the largest registered ownership of truck owners.
Oh, yeah.
And it's littered with truck conversion companies that take stock trucks and put them into, I guess, a mode that Texas millionaires wouldn't mind driving around. They do the leather seats and they do the step guards, and they trick them all out with the crocodile skin interior and superchargers. But I've always loved Texas, and I almost got used to it. It's kind of humid. It reminded me of Florida a lot. But I remember a couple of things. It was the food and it was the people. And you see it the same way. Now that the virus has stalled a lot of the events and everything is so event oriented with you, what are you guys doing now? How are you staying in touch? How you keeping everybody in contact? And how's the general attitude there?
Attitude's really good. Everybody's staying busy with builds. There's so many new bikes coming up. I mean, the Youngs over there, they're popping them out like you wouldn't believe. Some stuff comes out of their garage, man.
Who's that?
The Youngs, Tommy Young.
Yes. Okay.
Man, they are just, and everybody else. It's the off season. It's time. We don't get a lot of break in our season. We had over 20 events planned this year, and we're racing, sometimes every other week. So we don't get a big break to fix the bikes, to build different things. So this is giving a lot of people a chance to kind of catch up. So when the season starts back up, it's going to be scary because there's going to be some really fast bikes out there.
Well, I want you to do me a favor before I let you go. First of all, thanks for checking in. Thanks for what you do out there. I've got my own Tomb T-shirt somewhere. I hope by now I've reciprocated and sent you something. Have I?
Not yet, man, but we'll get on it.
Email me your address. I see you suns out, guns out kind of a guy, so I'll send you one of those. I'll send you a shirt that's a little bit shorter so you can buff out on me. But I'll send you some decals. I'll send you some small ones if you put them on your bike. In fact, I'll send you a dozen or two so you can hand them out to the guys, Mike.
Oh, yeah, man.
If you put those decals on, you get like an extra half a horsepower. Definitely.
Definitely, man. I'll send you some of these Tomb stickers because those are worth $5.
Well, good. I'll make money on the deal. But I want you to do me a favor. I got a guy that I grew up with in high school. He was doing a little bit better than some of us. And I thought for sure he would have owned like a Honda. The rich kids own the Honda Trail 70s or the Z50s. And we had the little mini bikes that we had to rob for $40.
Oh, yeah.
But he's out there in Texas now. And for some reason, he hasn't been able to get his hand on a mini bike for an adult. I want you to hook him up. His name is Chris Karak. Chris is listening to the podcast now.
Okay.
Chris hook up with Mike Hughes from Tomb Texas Outlaw Mini Bikes. Get down there and check them out. They'll throw you on a mini bike, see which ones you can survive, and who knows, maybe they'll find somebody that can sell you one. Go ahead.
I hope to see everybody out at the beach party, man. We have a beach party at Crystal Beach in August 15th, and I'm going to tell you, it's the most 23 miles of beach to ride. So I'd love to see you there.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind attending. I'm in the event business, and many of the events that we have had scheduled for this summer, particularly those that are, in months that we still don't have a gauge on, like October and September and July. Depending on what happens with those events, it'll determine whatever I'm able to do going forward, like so many other people. So maintaining some optimism. I just hope that we're all able to go out and do something. And if we're fortunate enough to see each other while we're doing it, that's the plan. Thanks for checking in.
Sir.
From Texas, Mike, and good to catch up with you. Send me a PM with your address, and I'll swap some stuff for you.
All right, y'all stay safe.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we're going to try to blow through these next few. Hi, Linda. What do we got there? I have to read this. Okay, cool. Okay, all right. So we've got 3 more guys to go. Let's get to Jeremy in Michigan. Now, Jeremy, as well as Randy Keats, recently came off of a pretty prestigious win at the Detroit Auto, I think it's the Autorama or the Detroit Auto Show. I think it's the Autorama, my bad. Obviously the Auto Show is for the new cars. But Jeremy, congratulations to you and Randy, and thanks for being patient. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Joe. How you doing today?
Well, we are we're running a little bit longer than we typically do because we've had so many folks that we were fortunate enough to get on the show. I noticed that most of the time I connect with you, it's like maybe noon your time, and I'm having coffee most of the time. What's happening, brother?
Not much, man. Usually when I hit you up, it's like lunchtime at work or something, because I usually just drive around and listen to the show while I'm delivering all my deliveries. But
well, thanks for listening in, and thanks for representing Michigan. I was talking with Randy online as well, and you guys had a pretty nice little turn of events happening and got recognized for some cool builds. Share with us a little bit about the recent accolades that you two guys won.
Well, me and Randy and a whole bunch of my friends, actually, Sam Blackburn, Billy Powell, Jim Schuster, a whole bunch of people, we all worked on this little bike behind me, the Little Pimp. It's an RCF micro bike.
Oh, and, nice. Yeah, Evans bikes, very popular.
All of us put our own little like ideas into it and our own little touch to it, and it's like a little hint of every little artist in Michigan here. So,
are there anything particular that you want to point out?
My favorite part about the entire bike is the hydro dip. Like, I love the hydro dip more than anything on this bike, because it's no pictures do justice. It's something you got to see in person. Like the flakes on it, they match the paint or the powder coat perfectly. Like that, and the seat. I really like the seat too, because I haven't had a Bill Moon seat before. So.
Yeah, you mentioned the hydro dip. It seems to be something that really you guys from Michigan can take a lot of credit for doing a lot of that. I noticed that was something that was really starting to get a little bit of notoriety maybe 2 years ago, and it was really based in Michigan.
I would give all that credit to Billy Powell, because, I mean, he's the guy who's been doing all that stuff at the beginning. Yeah. He's like the OG with that shit, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's funny because most of the times when you hear about exterior, Jay, it's typically, should I powder coat or paint? And I've always been more of a paint guy. There wasn't even powder coating really talked about back when I had mini bikes. I'm so friggin' old, but powder coating seemed to be like the quick, easy way and had a wider kaleidoscope of colors. But I'm kind of a paint guy. So the whole dipping process, I guess I kind of compared it to like maybe when guys wrap their cars. Early on, I was totally against it. But as I saw the evolution and as it got better and talented people started to apply that, whether it's the hydro dip or the wrapping, I've really grown to like them now. It's almost like you expect to see when you go to like the SEMA show. Almost a third of them are wrapped cars now instead of painted cars. So we're starting to see a little bit of a trend with the mini bikes with that dipping, and it seems like you like it, huh?
Yeah, I love it a lot. I mean, it really makes the bike pop from the different micro bikes, because a lot of the different bikes are just stock motors or just basic looking stuff, and like I wanted to do something a little bit different and a little more flashy. I wanted to be flashy enough to piss people off.
Well, the size the size of the micro bike attracts people. It's funny, it's not the enormity, it's the micro that attracts the people. It's almost like when you're talking to people, and instead of talking like this, I start to talk a little bit lower. And when I talk a little bit lower, you start to listen in a little bit more. It's the same thing with that micro bike. The smaller the bike, the more it attracts. And I see Evan has gotten a lot of popularity. Everybody from Karen Krause to countless others on the West Coast and on the East Coast and the Midwest have bought his bikes. I know he's evolving them now to take on before it was the 79cc Predator that fit in there. I think now you can get it so it'll fit in stuff in a 212 Predator. Evan's a fabricator, and he's an engineer. So I'm sure if you'd like those bikes and those frames now, wait till they evolve. I've got 1, 2, 3 of them still. I brought one of them with me to Saudi Arabia recently, and everybody loved those again because they were so small. You've done a good job with that bike, and I think that the public spoke when you guys, both you and Randy, won those awards. That sure didn't suck, did it? When you came home with the hardware. Congratulations again with that. How cool was that?
Thank you, man. It was really cool. That's the first award I've ever won for anything. I've never won anything before, and it was really cool. The first show I won was the Autorama. So, well, I didn't really win it. My son won it because this bike's for my son. So, and he's only a little guy, so it's perfect for him to start off on.
What's his name?
Henry Pavlica.
All right. Hey, look, I talked about Randy a few times. How about a couple good things about Randy? He seems like a nice guy. You guys been friends for a long time?
Oh yeah, Randy was a big help with this. I actually met Randy last year at the Autorama when I first went to shows and stuff, and ever since then I've just been talking back and forth to him on Facebook, going to his house and stuff, and he helped me work on this a few nights. We had a few late nights up until like midnight or 1 a.m. working out in his garage, and then some mornings I'd come out at like 6 a.m. before work, and then we'd work out in his garage before we would go to work. And then yeah, there was a few times where we just were really tired, but we still wrenching out on bikes, and we're me and him been texting back and forth during this quarantine. We've been really eager to get back out in the garage and doing it again, but we just got to wait out this quarantine because like out in here in Michigan, it's really bad out here, so everybody's just trying to stay as far apart as possible. So,
well, you do that. Be safe. Make sure that the folks that are a part of your family and your group of loved ones are taken care of as well. I want to thank you for being a part of the podcast. Congratulations again on your victory at the Detroit show. Continued success with the little micro. Want to give any shout outs quick while we let you go? And then I'd like to get to our next guest on the podcast for the National Roll Call, which is scheduled to be Dan Stoll from Illinois. Dan, thanks for holding on there. We'll be right with you. And then we're going to finish up with Vinny from Vinny's Minis. Any final shout outs that you'd like to give, Jeremy?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out to Sam Blackburn, Billy Powell, Jim Schuster, Randy Keats, obviously, Brad DeMoisey, Eric Swingle, Matthew Scott, like all the Cocor Racing family, everybody from that. Those are all my people. So, and I mean that's pretty much it. Studs Racing, everybody at Studs, Eric Shingles.
Yep, you got them all. There's a great group of guys, and who knows? Maybe many of those guys were at our show, the Joe's Minibike Reunion last year. Maybe we'll see your face there as well. Jeremy from Michigan, thanks for being a part of the roll call. You have a great rest of your night. Thanks for staying up late, brother. I look forward to talking to you soon, okay?
Yep, you too. Thank you, Joe.
All right, we're going to finish up with who do you have? Oh, great. And then Jared will be out. How about Vinny? All right, great. Who's Jared? Oh, yeah, Jared's from North Carolina. Yeah.
The decal guy, man. Come on.
No, my bad. All right. Hey, it's fucking late over here. Hey, I want to talk to you about those decals. Hey, folks, as typical podcast fashion, first of all, Emmanuel, thanks. I know we're running an hour 45 now. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad that we're able to get to this guy because although I had a little bit of brain fade, Jared, many of you guys know from social media because he's the decal guy, and he helped us with the decals that I used on the mats for Joe's Minibike Reunion. I'd like to give a shout out to Nicole. Nicole, thanks for tuning in. Nicole is our head photographer at the show, and it was also her idea to do the show. So thank you for joining us, Nicole. Jarrett helped me with the Pioneer decals, as well as, thank you, the Joe's Minibike Reunion adhesives that many of you who attended the event are probably still looking at in your garage if it's on the mat that we gave away. So Jarrett, thank you for that. And thanks for being a part of the podcast. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, living life here at the the new office wasn't here when we did those decals, but you know, things change, people go, and you move offices. So now I'm here in my own space, and you know, living life, working hard.
Yeah, we adapt, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I have to say the first 2.5 months of the year were a little bit rough for the business, but now everybody's home and there's like 2-3 orders every single day consistently. So we're doing
I'm
all
glad
right.
to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. And I noticed that you've done a really good job expanding your tentacles within not only the social media world, but particularly in the mini bike world. And I see you've had your hand in not only doing decals for me, but who are some of the other folks that you've done decals for?
Oh man, I did some decals for Joe. I did all of his decals. We did all the decals for let's see.
So when you say Joe, you're talking about Joe Pedroia and the Muscle Mini Bikes and some of the other ones, Jared?
Yeah, I designed the Retro Mod Garage decals. And
that's Justin Beck.
So I did those. I did some for the charity that Eric runs. And actually,
Eric Adams.
Yeah, Eric Adams. Let me see here. I don't know how much stuff you order from OMB Warehouse, but you might have seen something that looks like this coming in your orders now.
I'm sure that many folks have. I was on their website yesterday looking at some things. You know, it's funny how decals play such a big role for a lot of the mini bike manufacturers. Everybody's got to have their decals, right?
Oh yeah, crazy business. So
you showed a round version of OMB, Jared, and that is the size that most folks like because they put it on the recoil of the pull starter.
2.5 inches.
Is that the most popular size decal that most folks want for that placement? Do you find?
Mostly people want 2.5, and 2.5 is a good size for like, you know, the beer fridge, the sticker wall, that kind of thing. I mean, it's a good, nice size. So it's not too big, not too small, gets the point across, and we can make them fairly inexpensively.
Hey, if folks want to reach out, because, you know, sometimes time provokes creativity. I've heard of a lot of folks that have been kind of sitting around almost in a similar situation as you are, kind of now working from home or a mobile office. They start to get creative and think about alternative things to do. Maybe pursue things that they wanted to do. Maybe someone wants to start a business in the mini bike world and has an idea about a logo or a decal. How can folks hook up with you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can find us at JV Design Company on Facebook. Haven't been too active over there. And then I've kind of been a little bit more active on Garage Geek Motorsports. That's my other Facebook page. So, you know, between those two, if you can't find me, then you're not looking.
And then maybe if you can, Jarrett, you could post that information on my Joe's Mini Bike Reunion page. That would be great. And we'll do what we can. I was mentioned earlier in the podcast, we get a variety of different calls that run the gamut. If I have anybody looking for decal needs, and I don't just do that, I do it because I was a customer. You were great.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And those decals turned out fantastic.
I lived and learned, and I think we both did on those. The reality of it was that my customer was happy. Just like you were happy about me, and you made some concessions to get them sent through next day delivery, probably lost more money on the shipping than you did on the order. But I told my customer Pioneer that their logo would be on those mats.
Yeah.
And every one of those mats had their logo on it. So you did me a solid, I did them a solid, and we lived to fight another day. Yeah.
You know, people, my day job, I work at an aeronautical company. We do a lot of work for you know, DOD and all kinds of governments, including Saudi, which you brought up, but that's about as far as I can say on that topic. You can probably figure out what I do by that.
Sure.
So, you know, we do a lot there. Where was I going with this? I don't even know.
Well, look, I appreciate your little niche in the community, which is feed the machine on the decal side. Thanks for helping me out. Before I let you go, obviously you're in the mini bike scene. What's in the current collection? You still keep a stable of mini bikes? You still got one of your old ones? Are you looking to buy one?
Oh man, I kind of upset people in the mini bike community, to be honest. Of course, I don't have any vintage stuff yet. I want to get one. My buddy just bought some vintage mini bikes, but he won't sell any to me. The only bike I have here, because my office is also my shop, so the only mini bike I have here is a Doodlebug. I'm sorry, I know they're terrible.
People like
a 230 rear swing arm and a 50cc Cobra pit bike front fork, so it's a little bit crazy.
So you do own one, though. You do have a mini bike.
Yeah, and then I also have a DT4, a 1977 DT 400D that I'm rebuilding that I bought without an engine.
With the I just remember trying to start one of those the 360s and the 400s. They have those compression release.
I wouldn't know. The one I bought it for $80. It didn't roll and it didn't have an engine.
Well, DT 400s are the kind of the head mom, like the largest two-stroke that you can get out there. Those things kick ass when they run. So have fun with that. Thanks for being a part of the show, and thanks for representing the roll call. Look forward to talking to you and keeping in touch with you. And I'll give you a call when we're ordering our decals for the Joe's Mini Bike reunion for later on this year, hopefully.
Of course. So,
all right, there we have. We got Jeremy. We just had our folks from Jared from. Longer, but I think we're going to finish up with. Do we have who's next?
That's it.
All right, great. So unfortunately, we didn't get to Vinny. We didn't get to Dan Stoll. I think it was just a matter of time. We'll definitely get Vinny the next time through. You can check him out on Facebook. I want to thank you for running a little bit deep. I want to thank everybody else who listened to the podcast. I want to thank all of our sponsors. We're going to have some random winners. I'd like to recognize, in fact, the winners tonight. Victor Reyes. Victor Reyes, congratulations. You won a Pioneer head unit. Congratulations to you as well. And on the Joe's Mini Bike Reunion shirt, congratulations to Dave Ramiro. Dave Ramiro, congratulations, Dave. You won the Joe's Mini Bike Reunion garage shirt. So there's your winners. Send me some information about where I can mail that to both of you guys. Congratulations. Thanks, Boom Boom, for the help. Joe's Mini Bike Reunion. What about a podcast date for the next show?
Let's see. We got 2 weeks from now. Hold on here.
All right.
So we got the 21st.
All right. So on April 21st, same time, 7 p.m.
And
Pacific time.
Can I give out some sauce for people who win too?
What do you mean? You're going to give out some of the BBQ sauce?
Yeah, man.
Tell everybody what you got. Tell everybody what you're doing there.
I've got a barbecue sauce company if y'all want to check it out, bbq.com. You can order online so you don't have to go out to the stores and get it, and it'll go straight to your door.
I had some that you dropped off. What flavors are you offering?
Oh, man. I got an aloha sauce, a classic barbecue sauce, a blueberry vegan sauce, a keto sauce, and this is just a bottle, but we do have one of the hottest hot sauces out there right now, the Ghosty sauce. It's rated at 1.3 Scoville, so above a ghost pepper. So
what if the couple winners got some of that really hot sauce there?
Oh, they'll love it.
All right, so check that out. Congratulations again to Victor Reyes and to Dave. Congratulations to you as well. In addition to the prizes, you also get some really hot sauce. Once again, where's that email address? Folks want to order some sauce?
bbq.com. I'll put it in the comments right now.
All right. Before we go, folks, as a reminder, all new podcasts coming up. The Aftermarket Insider on the 14th of April, 11 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. We've got our own Facebook page. Little project I'm working on with Emmanuel. Stay tuned to the page for announcements on our guests. And finally, a special shout out to all of our Mini Bike Hall of Famers. Evil Ed, Mac, Dave Miller, MDB, Charles Mosley, Temecula Bob, Taco Bill, Home Alone, Guardrail Dave, Taco Joe, Mini Bike Paul. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. To all of our Hall of Famers, be safe out there. If you need anything, give us a call. I've had a great time. I hope you guys did the same. See you guys next time on Joe's Minibike Reunion Podcast, presented by Pioneer.
Joe's Minibike Show.